This is a test of frequency instruments, bass, drums, distortion.
Requirement to bed in amongst everybody and all sectors of the economy in all parts of the country. There we go. Thank you so much, girl. You've been listening to Rachel Johnson. I'm back next week from 6. Coming up at 10, it's Nick Abbott. But right now, it's Andrew Pierce.
Well, thanks very much, Rachel. Now, coming up, we'll be looking at the 3 teenagers convicted of the manslaughter of PC Andrew Harper. Boris Johnson, it's his first anniversary as Prime Minister. How well or badly do you think he's doing? Also, obesity. It's the big challenge that the government's going to make us all have flu vaccines. But first, did you wear a face mask today in a shop? Because if you didn't, you've probably broken the law. I'm Andrew Pierce, this is LBC, and that's all next.
Unless you deliberately come at me and say something to me about my color, then I'll call you a racist. But once you don't say anything to me about my color, I don't let it bother me, because you'll forever going about your business stressed that people are targeting you because you're black.
Water off a duck's back. I admire that, Beverly. Thank you very much for your call tonight. Good to talk to you. 0800 731 2000. Do you recognise that then? I mean, Beverly thinks that's some sort of script that's used. Oh, sorry, we incorrectly put your number into the computer. It came up as being registered elsewhere. Have you heard that? I mean, 2 incidents don't make a pattern, but 7 years apart, I suppose it'd be interesting to hear if that line was used to legitimise your stop. 0800 731 2000. Becky's right, sorry, we're moving on to our next story, beg your pardon. We will come to more of your calls on this. The switchboard went rather bonkers there, so we'll come back to more of your calls on this. But the overlap really is our story about the BBC issuing an apology for using the N-word during a news report. This is something that Eddie was talking about a lot last week, and indeed has been leading something of a charge over the weekend on Twitter as well. Lots of discussions about it as well, and I'm sorry Eddie's not here today to be able to continue that conversation. I'm sure he will as soon as he returns. I mean, I spoke earlier to the content creator, Maya Quadri, who said that the apology was poorly timed.
I have to be honest, I don't think the apology comes because we saw the double down. We saw comments about it was used for journalistic integrity, etc. It was only until we saw the petition. I mean, I'm pretty sure this event was the 29th. The Tuesday, we heard the BBC defend the use of it. By Wednesday, there was loads of complaints. I believe Sideman quit on Saturday, and we got the apology on Sunday. So if you look at that timescale, it would tell me that it was the online pressure and the big PR of losing such a key broadcaster who is key within that community as well. Let's not shy away from it. If you look at BBC One Extra, if you look at Match of the Day X, you've got a lot of young black talent there. When someone like that says, you know what, I'm not comfortable, I'm leaving, that's going to raise alarm bells.
Well, Becky Mazinga is the co-founder of Afro Hair Product Store for curly hair, and one of the people who wrote a formal complaint to the BBC. She joins me now. Hello, Becky.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you for asking. Thanks for coming on to the programme tonight. Tell me how you're feeling then about the BBC issuing an apology yesterday.
To be honest, it feels like the apology was purely because of Sideman leaving the BBC One Extra. I guess from someone who did complain about the use of the N-word on the BBC News, to me it just comes across as though they don't actually care about the average black person that watches BBC News, or the average black person that listens to BBC News on the radio. All they care about really is the high-profile black people, black celebs who might speak out against it. So there's thousands of us that complained. It was only until one person that worked for the BBC, who's were very well known, came out and said this isn't right. That's when they suddenly, dawned on them, okay, yeah, we're wrong here. And it's just a shame for me that it took that person, and definitely hats off to him. What he did was very commendable. So definitely hats off to him for doing that, for saying that the money isn't worth it, whether this job isn't worth it, my integrity is more important to me. But again, it just comes across like another like slap in the face to the average black person whose voices weren't heard.
One way to think about this, and this is how I was trying to process it over the course of the last few days, was if, for example, the attackers had used the C word, for example, in their attack to issue the C word or the MF words to the particular individual who was attacked in this case, K-Dog as he's known. There's absolutely no way that those words would have been used within the report, because it's blatantly obvious of the widespread offence that would have been caused by using those words. The fact that it was the N-word, what is the difference? Why do you think people don't understand that the gross offence that word being used just causes, regardless of context?
To be honest, I think you're 100% right. I think they do understand. I just think they just don't care. Like you said, if they used any other, derogatory words, they wouldn't have put it on. We saw that again with sort of Wiley's tweets; they weren't shown. But we're seeing when it comes to black people and the use of the N-word, somehow that seems to be okay in quote-unquote the right context. And I feel like using even the justification, the original justification, again sort of justifies anyone else to use it if it's said in the right context, which is completely wrong. And considering everything that's going on with systemic racism and all these protests that have been going on, and the BBC's coverage of these sort of events, I would have thought that they would have been a lot smarter and have just some sort of consideration towards this. I mean, they've got their own diversity director. Why wasn't
absolutely right? We do recently installed, and there are great efforts going on at the moment behind the scenes to improve the BBC's efforts in that direction. And we have now the Director General on Sunday accepting that they should have taken a different approach at the time of broadcast, apologising for that, and now strengthening the guidance on offensive language across our output. That's what Tony Hall said. So if it is that there will be demonstrable change as a result of this incident and understanding the